The secret language of status, hidden social hierarchies. Social interaction you participate in operates within an invisible hierarchy that most people never recognize. There are unspoken rules, subtle signals, and hidden power structures that determine who gets respected, who gets ignored, and who gets to make decisions. Today, we're going to decode this secret language of status and teach you how to navigate and influence these hidden hierarchies. Understanding social status isn't about being superficial or manipulative. It's about recognizing the reality of how human social groups actually function so you can protect yourself from being exploited and position yourself more effectively in any situation. The reality of social hierarchies. Despite what we're taught about equality, humans naturally organize themselves into hierarchies in every social context. This happens unconsciously and automatically in families, workplaces, friend groups, and even casual gatherings. These hierarchies aren't necessarily based on official titles or formal authority. They're based on perceived value, confidence, social intelligence, and the ability to influence others. Someone with no official power can hold high status, while someone with an impressive title can have surprisingly low status within the group. The key to understanding status is recognizing that it's largely perceptual. Status exists in the minds of group members and is constantly being negotiated through subtle interactions and social cues. How status gets established. This establishment happens through a complex system of tests, demonstrations, and social positioning that most people participate in without conscious awareness. One of the primary ways status gets established is through frame control. The person who sets the emotional tone and direction of interactions often becomes the high-status individual in that context. They're not necessarily the loudest or most aggressive person, but they're the one whose reality others accept and operate within. Another crucial factor is social proof. People gain status by being valued by others who are already perceived as high status. This creates cascading effects where status recognition builds upon itself. Confidence and competence also establish status, but these must be demonstrated rather than claimed. Actions, results, and consistent behavior carry more weight than titles or self-promotion. The language of high-status individuals communicate differently than those seeking status or defending low status. They speak with certainty rather than seeking approval. They make statements rather than asking permission. They use fewer qualifying words and hesitation markers. Their body language projects ownership of space. They move deliberately, maintain appropriate eye contact, and position themselves where they can observe and be observed. They don't fidget, apologize unnecessarily, or seek constant validation from others. High-status people also control conversation flow. They ask questions that guide discussions, introduce topics others follow, and can comfortably redirect conversations when needed. They listen more than they speak, but when they do speak, others listen. The language of status-seeking people seeking status often display behaviors that actually lower their perceived status. They over-explain their qualifications, name-drop excessively, or try too hard to impress others with their achievements. Status seekers also differ excessively to those they perceive as higher status, while treating perceived lower status individuals poorly. This inconsistency reveals their insecurity and actually damages their standing in the group. They tend to seek validation and approval constantly, asking questions like, "Don't you think?" or "Am I right?" These verbal tics signal uncertainty and need for external confirmation. Hidden status indicators of status communication happens through subtle indicators that operate below conscious awareness. Timing and response patterns reveal status relationships. Who waits for whom? Who interrupts successfully? Whose ideas get acknowledged and built upon? Spatial positioning also communicates status. Who sits where in meetings? Who stands while others sit? Who moves freely while others stay in assigned spaces? These physical dynamics reflect and reinforce status relationships. Attention flow is another crucial indicator. High-status individuals receive more eye contact, more questions, and more deference. Others look to them for reactions and approval, even in informal settings. The status games people play most social interactions contain hidden status negotiations that participants may not consciously recognize. These games include frame battles, where people compete to establish whose interpretation of reality gets accepted by the group. Testing behaviors are common, where individuals probe for reactions to determine relative status. These might be subtle challenges to see who backs down, jokes to see who laughs, or requests to see who complies. Alliance building also affects status, as people form coalitions with others to strengthen their position within the group. These alliances shift over time based on changing dynamics and interests. Navigating workplace hierarchies, privileges, and environments have both official and unofficial status systems that don't always align. Understanding both is crucial for career advancement and workplace effectiveness. Official hierarchy is based on titles, reporting structures, and formal authority. Unofficial hierarchy is based on influence, relationships, expertise, and personal charisma. The most successful people learn to work within both systems. Key workplace status indicators include who gets consulted on decisions, whose opinions carry weight in meetings, who has access to informal information networks, and who others seek out for advice or collaboration. Social group dynamics and social settings. Status often revolves around who others want to be around, who gets invited to exclusive events, who others defer to for decisions, and who serves as this social connector bringing others together. Social status can be more fluid than workplace status, with different individuals holding higher status in different contexts or activities. Someone might be high status in sports contexts, but low status in intellectual discussions. The dangers of status obsession. While understanding status dynamics is valuable, becoming obsessed with status can be counterproductive and ultimately self-defeating. People who focus too much on status often appear try-hard and insecure, which actually lowers their status. Status anxiety can also lead to poor decision-making, where choices are made based on how they appear to others rather than what's actually beneficial. This can damage relationships, career prospects, and personal well-being. The most effective approach is to understand status dynamics without being controlled by them. Use this knowledge strategically while maintaining authenticity and focusing on genuine value creation. Building authentic status, the most sustainable form of status comes from genuine competence, consistent character, and real value contribution. This kind of status is earned rather than performed and tends to be more stable over time. Focus on developing actual skills, maintaining high standards, and helping others achieve their goals. These behaviors naturally create respect and influence without appearing manipulative or insecure. Be reliable, keep commitments, and demonstrate integrity in both small and large matters. Consistency in character builds trust, which is the foundation of lasting status. Reading status dynamics develop the ability to quickly assess status relationships in any group. By observing interaction patterns, attention flow, and deference behaviors, notice who speaks first, who gets interrupted, who others look to for reactions. Pay attention to subtle signs like who arrives late without apology, who controls the agenda, who others seek approval from, and who can successfully challenge ideas without backlash. This awareness helps you navigate groups more effectively and avoid accidentally violating established hierarchies or challenging the wrong people in inappropriate ways. The strategic application is your understanding of status dynamics to communicate more effectively, position yourself advantageously, and avoid common social mistakes that can damage your reputation or relationships. In professional settings, this might mean aligning with influential people, contributing valuable insights at strategic moments, or avoiding behaviors that signal low status like over-apologizing or excessive deference. In social settings, it might mean being inclusive rather than exclusive, demonstrating social intelligence through appropriate behavior, or serving as a connector who helps others interact effectively. The ultimate understanding, Stews, is neither good nor bad. It's simply a reality of human social organization. Understanding these dynamics gives you the power to navigate them consciously rather than being unconsciously controlled by them. The most successful people aren't necessarily those who achieve the highest status, but those who understand status dynamics well enough to operate effectively within them, while maintaining their authenticity and values. Master the secret language of status, and you'll find yourself moving through social and professional situations with greater confidence, effectiveness, and respect from others who sense your social intelligence and strategic understanding.